What is one of the things you can do out in deeper water this time of the year, since a lot of the fish are out in deeper water? They're depending on where your thermocline is in your lake. Your thermocline might be down 20-25 feet. Here in Oklahoma, it's only about 15 the last time I was on the water. And so most of the fish were down around 12 to 15 feet actually. But even at 12 to 15 feet, what's something that you need to be looking for out there that can really help you catch those isolated bass? Good morning, guys and girls. August 30, wow. Proverbs 27:10. Oh golly, I love this one. I love this one right here. Do not forsake your own friend or your father's friends. Do not forsake your own friend or forsake your father's friends. My dad was a lifelong versatile fisherman. His first love was crappie fishing. He loved catfish, but bass ran a close second to those crappie. And he could really catch bass. He could catch bass. He had the patience of Job. You've heard that? He did. And I would always worry when we were fishing the spot. I would worry we were fishing the spot, and we'd been there maybe like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and I'm not patient fishing. And we wouldn't catch a fish, and Dad said, I know they're here, I know they're here, I know they're here. And after about 30 or 40 minutes, I'd want to move so bad that it'd just been driving me crazy. And I said, well, let's go try this spot. Let's go try this. Let's try this. And he would change lures or change color worms or something like that. And I would start praying, Lord, don't let him catch a fish. Don't let me get a fish. So I got a bite. I just try to take it away from him. I wouldn't even set the hook, because I knew that if we caught one, we'd sit there another 30 or 40 minutes. It's amazing how many great things you remember about your parents and some of your friends and family that have gone on to be with the Lord. They're not here anymore, and that just popped right into my mind right there. Sometimes I would shake a bass off to keep from him staying on that spot another 30 or 40 minutes or an hour. My dad hosted the 1962 World Series of Sports Fishing at our resort there on Lake Tenkiller. All the fishermen stayed there in our cabins at Cooks and Hills Cabins. Virgil Ward won that championship. That's right, Virgil Ward, and started his very popular championship fishing show on television because of that victory. I got to fish with Virgil Ward when I first met him there, and became a lifelong friend. I actually carried Virgil down to Venezuela on a great fishing peacock bass trip later in his life before he died. So Dad was thrilled, absolutely thrilled, when I started winning bass tournaments. He thought, man, that is fantastic, because Dad loved tournament fishermen back before BASS, Project Sports, any of these organizations that we have today. Dad died January 1990. Wow. 32 years ago. I think about him every day. A patriarch of that entire Lake Tenkiller area. He had tons of friends. At his funeral, I spoke at his funeral. I presented the gospel at his funeral. We had to have a television monitor set up in an extra room, which was a big deal back in 1990, to handle the overflow at our church. But Dad had a few special friends that he had fished with often, and many, many more special friends that he had guided over the years. When Dad sold the resort and retired, I talked him into guiding, because he wanted to go fishing all the time and he would fish by himself a lot. I talked him into guiding and making a few extra bucks at it. God pops today's proverb into my mind very often. And I make it a point when that happens to take a visit with Dad's closest friends, and even with some of Dad's old guide customers at the tackle shows. If a friend of your father comes to mind today, you might just want to pay him a visit, give him a call, contact him. It could be God that's asking you to do that. That's your special devotional to me right there. Here's our tip for today. Search out smaller underwater structures with your fish locator, with your fish finder. Search out smaller underwater structures, things that are not very big. Maybe a brush pile that's 2 or 3 foot, and that's all. Not a big giant brush pile, not a great structure on a drop off or something, but maybe just out in a flat. Many tournaments are won on certain lakes because they have a lot of little small structures, might just be a stump, out on flats in 10, 12, 15, 20 foot of water. Very accessible, easy to fish if you know exactly where they are. Search out those structures with your fish finder. Put a waypoint on them, put a mark on them. Learn how to pull up to them and know you can make a cast and get close enough to that structure to catch a fish. With our live scope, we can even look at that stump and watch our bait go down by it. Many times we'll see the fish before we make the cast. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. Remember, I sure do love you.